Yo, what is going on, you guys? So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down two pieces of massive news that recently broke in the sports card industry that I believe are going to cause sports card shows to really go to the next level towards the end of this year and in 2024. So without further ado, we're going to hop right into this video. So as most of you guys probably know, we are coming off of the most attended national in the history, the 2023 national. Even though, of course, the sports card market may not be at its absolute peak in terms of prices, it seems to be that the amount of people in sports cards continues to grow because the national continues to grow year after year. 2022 was bigger than 2021, and 2023 was bigger than 2022. So we're just seeing a lot more people attending sports card shows. And it's not only that, there are a lot of new shows that are coming up. A big one I can list is the Burbank Sports Card Show that has absolutely, been, I guess, not a baby national for the West Coast, and it's getting a lot of attendance. So sports card shows across the country are getting a lot of attendance, more attendance than ever, which is very exciting. There are more shows coming up. New brands making shows, more often. So this Burbank Card Show, for example, is now moving from once a year to twice a year. So every 6 months, which is, there's a lot of demand. So there's a lot of shows trying to meet that demand from consumers to come to shows. One big thing that I wanted to start with, in terms of the big, I guess, breaking news in the hobby, is the Asia Sports Collectors Convention, which is hitting Macau, China, for the first time ever. So we're having the first ever Asia Sports Collectors Convention, in China in December. And I believe that is going to really open up doors for massive shows in Asia and massive shows around the globe. I think sports card shows, one big thing I think we're going to see, and we're already starting to see, of course, is just going totally international. And the China show, I believe, is going to be around 500 to 600 tables. It's in the Venetian, I think, in Macau, China. So it's going to be a very large venue. Of course, not quite the national, but they are trying to start up a brand like the national in China, and in Asia in general. So it's aiming to be, the national of Asia, which I believe is going to be incredible because there's going to be so many new people that are going to be introduced to sports cards and sports card shows through the Asia Sports Collectors Convention. And I think that overall is going to really help the market, potentially get some people who are doing high-end enough business to where they can start flying out to U.S. shows if they did enjoy, the Asia Sports Collectors Convention, the ASCC. So I just think overall there's a lot of growth to be had with that international element. I believe it could start hitting Europe. There could be multiple brands that maybe, they do Asia tours, and every 6 months or every 4 months, depending on how, popular this first show is, they just, continue to hit different parts of Asia. And I know a lot of my personal friends from the U.S. are making it out there. We are trying to make it out there to the ASCC, the first ever ASCC. So I believe that's going to be a very big development to watch out for, because if sports card shows truly do go international, we could see a lot more intertwined within the markets. Because right now the China market's the Asia market in general is a little bit separated from the US market. But if we have people traveling back and forth, all the shows can become a lot bigger, because if there's thousands of people in Asia that are introduced to sports card shows through the ASCC, we could get a lot of those coming down to the national, for the biggest U.S. sports card show. And of course, we have people from the U.S. going there. So there's a lot of development there that I think can really boost up the numbers in terms of attendance at sports card shows. And then secondly, of course, we have the massive news that broke a couple months back, that Fanatics is starting their own sports card shows in 2024. So 2024 is right around the corner, and we could really start to see some big announcements from Fanatics that are trying to make sports card shows, not only like sports cards, not only for sports cards, but for sports fans in general. Make it like a Disneyland for sports fans, where you have athletes, not just signing like previously, but you have athletes walking around the card shows, athletes buying sports cards, athletes setting up as dealers. There's going to be a lot of big changes that I know Fanatics is working on, that makes this whole opportunity extremely exciting. I believe Fanatics is truly going to change the way we see sports card shows. It's going to be more than just a show. There's going to be entertainment, of course, like musicians performing that weekend in that city, potentially revolving it around big sporting events like the Super Bowl, have a Super Bowl themed Fanatics sports card show, where the whole hobby literally travels down there. They bring in players playing in the Super Bowl, NFL players, and a lot of different exciting things that I believe Fanatics has up their sleeve. So it's going to be a very, very big year for sports card shows in 2024 in general, I believe. As we know, 2020, towards the end of every single year, November, December times are usually the slowest for sports card shows. We've seen it the past 4 or 5 years where, sports card shows in the summer pretty much hit its peak, and then November, December time is a little bit slow over the holidays. A lot of people are traveling, but as soon as January kicks off, that's usually when we see sports card shows just pick back up, like this year. Of course, you have the Dallases, now the Burbank, which will be in February, I believe, as well. So there's just a lot of stuff that's going to be going on in the beginning of 2024, and of course, as I mentioned, the end of 2023 is going to be the Macau first ever ASCC. So I just believe there's going to be a lot of opportunity for dealers, for people who just want to travel sports car shows, maybe make flips, meet people. There's so many great things that can come out of sports card shows. And most importantly for the hobby, I feel like it just introduces new people to sports cards. When you see a massive event going on, people waiting, at big convention centers, there's a lot of opportunity for people to kind of just, be in the right place at the right time, and just experience a sports card show for the first time. And I think that's the most exciting part about it for me, is that so many people, get into the hobby through being, through just experiencing a sports card show. Maybe their friend is going, maybe someone they know is going, maybe they just heard about it and they're in the area. There's so much opportunity for people to get into sports cards through sports card shows. And I think that's truly the best way to introduce people, to be around so many people who are into sports cards, to see sports cards physically, not just scrolling eBay and trying to learn about it yourself, but really talking to people, getting in there. Seeing athletes can drive a lot of sports fans in that maybe don't even know about sports cards. They just know about Fanatics. They know about Michael Rubin. They know that maybe Tom Brady's going to be at this event. So they show up, and then all of a sudden, there's sports cards all around them, and they're very amped to get in. So I think it's just going to be a great time for the sports card industry and for sports card shows in general. So let me know what you guys think about all this. Of course, Fanatics starting sports card shows, and then Asia hosting their first ever massive sports card show. Let us know what you think down below. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe. We are on our road to 50,000 subscribers, always bringing you guys content about sports card shows, sports card investing, and just everything related to sports cards. So I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Other than that, I'm out. Peace.